Thanks for staying with us this morning. We're doing our second part of our interview with our Congressman Mike Pompeo, and we're in his Wichita office. So, Mike, again, re-election year, and your time is valuable. So I appreciate you taking the time, and I know our viewers appreciate hearing from you and getting to spend 6 to 12 minutes with you and really kind of hearing what's going on.
Wonderful.
You are traveling the state. Farmers are struggling. The district you represent is heavy agriculture. What's the word? I mean, commodity prices aren't helping.
So everybody had the danged blessing of a really good yield this year. Lots of crops, low prices, a real challenging environment. There were changes made a couple years back in some of the farm programs, and farmers are trying to adjust to figure out the economics of how that worked. They had to pick between a couple different programs.
Right. ARC and PLC.
And they're trying to figure out if they got it right and what that's ultimately going to mean to them. So there is lots of anxiety around that as well because those programs are new. They're also worried, and I'm very worried about this, and I'm not sure how we can help, but we're going to try. We're starting to put crops on the ground. I saw some just this past week. Where folks think that the next crop coming in right behind it, there's just not enough storage, not enough transportation to move all this product to market. An enormous challenge. We'll get some spoilage that results from that, and it's going to make this next 6 months to a year difficult for farmers and the suppliers, the folks who supply these farmers as well. Challenging times for sure.
And again, I think people who aren't in the agriculture industry don't realize the importance of highway bills, rail, all of those things that go into getting food or raw material to be made into food.
I'd add to that trade.
Yeah.
Both presidential candidates today are talking about trade in ways that scare the heck out of me. Both political parties. This is not partisan in any way. Kansas agriculture has to have access to these markets. We have to have the ability to grow the product, to raise the livestock. We have to have the capacity to move that product through roads and rail and all the various waterways through our various waterways. We have to have all of that infrastructure to move it, but then we have to have customers. We have to have markets that we can sell this product into. So I am very hopeful that we will be able to pass trade agreements that benefit Kansas agriculture and allow us to sell the most affordable food in the world into markets that have sometimes remained closed to us. A big task in front of us.
The U.S. is not the only country that grows cattle, corn, soybeans, and wheat.
No, that's right. And these other countries, I assure you, they want to steal our markets like nobody's business. There's been a lot of objection to TPP. It's not perfect. But boy, I'll tell you what, if we don't do that, the Chinese, the Russians, someone else is going to figure out how to take those markets in Southeast Asia and other places around the world, and Kansans will be the losers as a result of that. Congress has an obligation to get those trade agreements right and get them passed.
Perfect. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to spend the last 3 minutes with the Congressman. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. We'll see you in just a minute.
This segment brought to you by Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail. Keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Thanks for staying with us. We're in Wichita at our Congressman Mike Pompeo's office, and again, re-election year. You always feel like your job's not done. Even though you get to spend time there, you always feel, I just got more to do. There's more to do. And what do you think you still have left to do?
Oh, boy, goodness, the list is long. Sadly, I wish I've been at this now 5 years and change, and I'm running for re-election. We spent these 5 years really pushing back very hard against an administration that doesn't understand Kansas farms, whether it was the Clean Power Plan or Waters of the U.S. or the Lesser Prairie Chicken, all the things where this administration has imposed enormous burdens at no benefit to America and costs on Kansas farmers. We've pushed back, sometimes successfully, sometimes not. So that work remains. We've got to make sure that we have clean air and safe drinking water, but we do so in a way that preserves the capacity to grow the food for the next billion people. So lots remains there. I also just wrapped up a big task. I was on the Benghazi committee. It's not related to agriculture, but an important task to make sure that we have lots of folks who come off farms and their families go enter service in the Army or the Navy, the Air Force, or the Marines. When we send folks into harm's way, we got to make sure we take care of them. And in that instance, America did not do that. So I felt that task was incredibly important. And then we're going to work diligently, too, to make sure that this threat that we see around the world in places like Orlando and San Bernardino, this threat from radical Islamic terrorism, is challenged as well. This president has allowed it to grow and to fester, and it's now coming here to America. We've got to make sure that in places like Kansas, that threat doesn't grow and increase and put all of us at risk.
Well, not only that, we're in the middle of the country, and I would consider us a conservative state. And you look at some of the other places on the east and west coast where guns are a big issue.
You bet.
And people are talking about guns and gun control.
Brad, that's a great point. That's not going away. For 6 years, this president has tried to increase the capacity for the government to interfere with ordinary Kansans' right to carry firearms. It's frankly one of the places we've been most successful at pushing back against him. 3 times they have assaulted American gun rights, and 3 times we've pushed back successfully. It's not going to end, but I'm confident that there are enough Americans who understand this fundamental freedom in the same way that I do, and we'll be able to keep everyone's Second Amendment rights intact. I promise to work diligently to make sure that that happens.
And we've got about a minute left, so if someone wants to find out more about you, if they're maybe new to your district and want to find out more about you, how can they find that information out?
So there's lots of ways. One, we'd love it if they'd sign up to get my newsletter. You can go, just Google Pompeo, and you'll see my official office pop up. It's Pompeo it's pompeo.house.gov is the website. Okay. If you want to look at the campaign side, you can go take a look at that too. It's all right there. But if you get our newsletters, it's a great way to communicate. We'll tell you what we're doing, but it's also easy for you to respond and tell us what you think of how I'm doing. Let me know when I get it right and when I get it wrong.
Well, no matter what, we're going to have a new administration coming in.
I'm counting on it.
In November, so we're someone who's going to be in the office. So, Congressman, thank you for your time.
You.
I really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
You're watching kansasAGreport.